Not to start on a negative note, but let's face it, the last 12 months have been some of the most difficult and often soul-destroying of our lives. But at least these wrestling folks use this period to better themselves and get completely ripped. I'm Gareth from What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestlers who got jacked in lockdown. Number 10, Sasha Banks. Now let's get something straight. Sasha Banks has never exactly been out of shape throughout the entirety of her WWE run, athletically throwing herself around the ring without a care in the world. The boss has cut a fit and fierce figure from the second she showed up on NXT programming in 2012. However, in light of the recent lockdown situation and the fact she now isn't required to commit to WWE's infamously arduous travel schedule, the current SmackDown Women's Champion recently revealed that her career has changed for the better over the last year. With the star living in Florida, the state where WWE are currently housing their product in the Thunderdome, Banks now doesn't have to travel far to do her job, meaning she now has more time to work on her physique. She even stated when talking on the Normal Not Normal podcast that her body is in the best shape it's ever been. Looking at Banks' recent posts on Instagram, revealing her insanely shredded abs and her always improving work in the ring, it's clear that some extra boss time has paid off for the Mandalorian star. Number 9, Roman Reigns. One of the first people to put their foot down and stay home to protect their family in light of the pandemic sweeping the globe was WWE's resident big dog Roman Reigns. Stepping away from a Universal Championship main event at WrestleMania 36, Reigns would spend the next 4 months watching from the sidelines as Braun Strowman and The Fiend rolled around in a swamp over the title. But when the former Shield member finally returned to the fray at SummerSlam in August, it was clear that his time away was not spent eating crisps on his couch. Oh, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Our new tribal chief had been hammering the gym and getting into the shape of his absolute life. A feat he truly showed off for the first time as he made his way to the ring to face cousin Jey Uso at Clash of Champions. Dropping the body armor and flaunting his chiseled abs and pumped up chest, the head of the table was born, and long may he squeeze the life out of helpless babyfaces with his jacked bicep-assisted guillotine. It's a thing of beauty. Number 8, Billy Gunn. Again, Billy Gunn has never exactly been out of shape during any stage of his 30-plus year career in the wrestling industry, which is a monumental feat in itself, seriously. But that still did not stop Mr. Ass from taking things up a shredded notch during his time in lockdown. Outside of working for AEW as both a talent and a coach, Gunn also dabbles in a bit of bodybuilding, as you do, and his flexed up hobby was well and truly shown off recently when his son posted a video on Twitter revealing the star's shape before a competition. Whatever way you slice it, for Gunn to look that shredded at the age of 57, ridiculous amount of fake tan aside, is nothing short of insane. It wasn't made known whether or not the former DX star came out on top in said bodybuilding competition, but we do know one thing for certain. Austin Gunn's comments in the post are pretty much indisputable. Gunn is the unquestionable definition of my dad will beat up your dad. Number 7, Cody Rhodes. Another star who took some time away from the ring to both mentally and physically better himself in 2020 was AEW Executive Vice President Cody Rhodes. After being absolutely obliterated by the late great Brody Lee on an episode of Dynamite in August, and in turn losing his TNT Championship, Rhodes disappeared from television for just over a month. With nothing but time on his hands due to the world being brought to a standstill, the American Nightmare made that month count. Once the shock of seeing a dark-haired Rhodes had worn off upon his return, fans soon acknowledged this noticeable transformation, with the Nightmare family member clarifying that he's been completely drug-free during his quest to build muscle on the road to Full Gear and Revolution. Needless to say, Cody's mission to become a fully fledged heavyweight appears to be going swimmingly, with the star now cutting a hulking figure and dwarfing the likes of Darby Allin at the aforementioned Full Gear. He's still got a long way to go until he's Shaq-sized though, sorry buddy. Number 6, Braun Strowman. Producing a physique Kratos himself would be proud of, former Universal Champion Braun Strowman has undergone quite the physical transformation in the last year or so. Though he'd already tested the waters in terms of dropping a few pounds prior to WrestleMania 35 in 2019, the monster among men opted to push himself that little bit further whilst he wasn't now spending countless hours uncomfortably squished into a plane or car seat. A number of injuries also led to the star not being used regularly on WWE television for a few few spells throughout 2020 and early 2021. But Strowman did not let that stop him from getting some additional time in the gym and adjusting his life for the better during lockdown. Strowman recently admitted there was a time a couple of years ago when he was simply going through the motions in the gym and drinking way too much whilst dealing with depression. Yet it appears that BRAUN has been firmly left in the rear-view mirror, with an abs-boasting beast now marauding around the Thunderdome. Number 5. Charlotte Flair. One of the most naturally gifted performers to have ever graced a WWE ring, Charlotte Flair has always prided herself on looking and acting the part. Yet after winning the Women's Royal Rumble, conquering NXT Women's Champion Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 36, and then dropping the title to Io Shirai at NXT TakeOver in Your House, it was clear the Queen was in need of some time away. Fans had grown tired of her constant presence at the top of the card, and Flair herself needed to undergo surgery to correct an issue from a previous operation on her breast implant. Once the star finally returned to WWE television in December, it was obvious that Flair had been keeping herself in tip-top condition during her absence from the company. So much so that she now appears to be as shredded as she's ever been, frequently showing off her abs of steel and insanely toned biceps in numerous social media posts. It's just a shame this peak fitness Flair has been wasted on soul-crushing daddy issue storylines and a pointless women's tag team title run then. Number 4. Peyton Royce. The last 12 months have been particularly devastating for the Iconics, with the pair being regularly relegated to the sidelines despite making their dramatic return in May, and then tragically splitting up in August. But at least Peyton Royce found a few positives in an otherwise forgettable lockdown period. For years, the star had wanted to step into the bikini competition world, and 2020 finally gave her the opportunity to fulfill that dream. Getting in frankly outrageous shape for the fitness comp, Royce documented her progress on YouTube and Instagram, posting updates of her always improving set of abdominals and all-round impressive physique. When it came to the show itself, Royce only went and nabbed 2nd and 3rd place in the true novice and open bikini categories respectively. You'd think a talented performer this dedicated to shreddedness would be the stuff of Vince McMahon's dreams. But somehow here we are. What a waste. Number 3. Christian. Just when you thought you'd seen it all after the jaw-dropping return of Edge at last year's Royal Rumble, Christian only went and pulled another reverse retirement shocker at the 2021 iteration of the event. You just love to see it, seriously, oh my god. After deciding to get into absolutely terrific shape over the course of a no doubt arduous 5-month period during lockdown, the former World Heavyweight Champion was remarkably cleared for in-ring action for the first time since 2014. His hours spent in the gym and commitment to Nutrition Solutions meal plans all helped Captain Charisma go from dad bod to Finn Balor light. You have to imagine the star will be tempted to give his new figure a real test drive over the coming months. Number 2. Big Cass. You may not be able to teach being 7 foot tall, but you can certainly learn how to add on some shredded beef. Since infamously parting ways with WWE in 2018, publicly battling against depression and anxiety, whilst also attracting controversy with his questionable backstage antics. But if his recent appearance at a Lariato Pro Wrestling show was anything to go by, the now Kaz XL seems to have been putting in the work to get in proper wrestling shape during his time in lockdown. Without a shadow of a doubt looking every bit the 7-foot piece of solid granite he always had the makings of, Cass marked his 2021 comeback with a big boot that left opponent Auguste Artois with a busted lip for his troubles. Hopefully Cass's commitment to looking the chiseled part translates into him being in a better headspace altogether too, as a focused and driven 34-year-old beast could still make a sizable mark on the industry over the next few years. We're crossing our fingers for you, man. Number 1. Pete Dunne. While the entire planet was seriously impacted by the sudden decision to close down businesses and restrict travel in response to the pandemic gripping our lives, Pete Dunne in particular found himself frustratingly on the outside looking in at a time when WWE was still powering through crowdless programming. Just after successfully defending the NXT Tag Team titles alongside fellow Dusty Cup winner Matt Riddle, Dunne was forced to stay home in the UK. Instead of spitting out his dummy at the fact he eventually lost his belt and months of his in-ring career due to this unexpected lockdown, the Bruiserweight just got to work. Over the course of 6 months, a mixture of training to legit failure, eating in a slight deficit, and making sustainable changes for life helped transform the former NXT UK champion into a bona fide piece of cut-up meat by the time he appeared at NXT's Halloween Havoc show in October. It seems as though Dunne has safely pulled off this impressive physical feat through hard work and intelligent calorie counting. So here's hoping his inspirational graft leads to more NXT or main roster glory down the road. That kind of body deserves all the gold, damn it. And that's our list. Know of any other wrestlers who got jacked in lockdown? Let us know all about them in the comments section right down below, and do not forget to like, share, and click on that subscribe button. I've been Gareth from What Culture Wrestling. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you very, very soon.